Shalom Aleichem, sweetest friends. We are continuing our shir in the Sefer Pachad Yitzchak and Maimer Dalid, and now we have reached Os Zayin. It says in the Nusach HaTfilah, Tiferes Atah Li-yom Haminucha, Oneg Kara Li-yom Ha-shabbos. Glory, you have clothed the day of rest, and Oneg, pleasure, you have called the day of Shabbos. So we see here something very interesting. We see that the Oneg was Kara and the Tiferes was Atah. Oneg, Kara, Tiferes, Atah. It was called Oneg and it was enclosed with glory. So we'd like to explain these two relationships between Oneg and Kara and Tiferes and Atah. It's well known what the Sarei HaKodesh and Chachmei Emes say, that Ein Bura Lamata Mi Nega, Ve'ein B'tov L'mala Me Oneg. There is no greater evil than Nega, and there is no greater good than Oneg. It's the same osios, Nega and Oneg. The highest level is Oneg. The lowest level of Ra is Nega. Nega is an affliction. Oneg is pleasure. So we know that the osios in Lashon HaKodesh are a metzius. It's not just a haskama. They agree that this should be the way the letters are arranged and written, but rather it tells you something very deep about reality, about existence. So the letters, the words Oneg and Nega have the same letters in a different order, and that shows that they are going in opposite directions in the same territory. Yedias ha'afachim achasi, like the Maharal says, that knowing opposites is one. If you know one, you know the other. They're two sides of the same coin. In other words, the lashon of the Rav, hakatzeh ha'acharon shel hakav ha'hofchi le'oneg negat shmo. The opposite side, the opposite end of oneg is called nega. And we see from here that nega is the most extreme contrast to oneg, even more so than death. You would think, oneg, pleasure, what's the least pleasurable thing to do? To die. I mean, I've never tried it before, but I can only imagine, right? So if oneg, if you would think that the opposite of oneg would be mavis, but it's not true. The opposite of oneg is nega. On the other hand, we know, or bad or v'chol asher li'ish yitein bad nafsho. A man will do anything to save his life. All the money in the world, they'll go to the ends of the earth, they'll do anything just to remain alive. We love being alive if we're healthy. So how can you say that the worst is nega, the worst is death? And it could very well be that if we give a person a choice and we say nega or death, he'll choose the nega. He'll choose that nega, he'll choose the tsaras, he'll choose the affliction. So then it would seem then that Misa is more evil than Nega. However, what the Chachmei Emes meant was kapei pnimius ha'oimek shel mahalach ha'kedusha be'inyan zeh shel Nega ve'oneg. So now we have to get not into this world of what would I rather have, but rather into the world of understanding the depth in the world of holiness of Nega and Oneg, and then we'll understand why Nega is the worst. We know the rule that schar mitzvah b'hai alma leka. There's no schar mitzvah in this world. The matzav of hai alma in this sentence is coming to preclude two situations that even though they're different, nevertheless, they are not part of this world when it comes to schar mitzvah. There are two situations where there is schar mitzvah. Normally we say schar mitzvah hamaleka, but there are places where there are schar mitzvah. One is in Gan Eden. There we sit the neshamos of tzaddikim, I hope we, and they're misaneg miziv hashchina. And then the other is the world after tchiyas hamesim, bizman shelumola ha'oretz deya, that the earth will be filled with deya. The primary difference between these two situations is that in the first situation of Gan Eden, of neshamas, the Kabbalah's Hatainug is not drawn to the tsuras Adam, to the normal form of man, the complete form of man, because only the neshamos are sitting in Gan Eden, and not the body. A neshama that is taken away from a body doesn't have a shem Adam. Adam is chibur guf v'nefesh. In contrast, the other situation in the Olam HaTchiyah, the second situation that we mentioned, in the world of Tchiyas HaMeisim, Umala Oretz Deya, is Kabbalah's Tainug on the Tzuras Adam, that the Tzuras Adam is going to be receiving his reward. The Oretz is Mismales Deya, not the Neshamas in Gan Eden, rather the earth. Hayom la'asosam, u'machar lekabel schar, as Chazal tell us. Today we do, and tomorrow we receive reward. And every Yachid has his tomorrow. Every Yachid has his Machar. And also, Klal Ha'adam has its Machar. Man in the generic sense has his tomorrow. The Machar is not Misyaches. The Machar of the Yachid is not Misyaches to the Tsuras Adam of that Yachid. Why? Because the Schar is not going to the Neshama of the Yachid. But the Machar of Klal Ha'adam is Misyaches to the Tsuras Adam. Shekol inyano shel ha-mochar hazeh hu la'achar sheyishenei afer yakitzu. The mochar of Klal Ha'adam, of mankind as a whole, relates to Tchiyas HaMeisim, after we get up from the dust. So when it comes to the machar of a yachid, it's not a soul tzuras adam, it's just his neshama. When you talk about the machar of klal adam, that's mitziachis to the tzuras adam. That relates to tzuras adam because then he's going to have a body. So, since we always know that the prat is batal to the klal, it emerges that the ikar machar of Kabbalah schar is the machar of klal adam. And this machar of Klal Adam is going to be when the Kabbalah Schar is going to come to the Tzuras Adam of Chibur Guf V'Nefesh. The connection of man's body and man's soul. That's Klal Adam. And it's very simple, we all know. That Tachlis, Mitzius, Hatainu, V'ikro, the ultimate goal of the existence of pleasure, and its primary reality is schar mitzvah. And we learn from this that when we speak about Oneg in Gan Eden, it is only a borrowed term. B'muvan hash'ala shel derech melitza. Aval u'musag ha'atzmi shel Oneg, the primary meaning, not the secondary meaning of Oneg, which is in Gan Eden, but the primary meaning of Oneg is not at all matim to the Oneg in Gan Eden. And adarabba, be'atzmiyuso shel davar, the primary reality of the thing, musag of Oneg, in the real sense, in the primary sense, is coming to preclude from the pleasures of Gan Eden, because the musag of Oneg means the shefa hachiyus, that is coming to Atzuras Adam, that's coming to the complete form of man when his body is enmeshed with his soul. In other words, the schar mitzvah of Olam HaTchiyah, of Klal Adam, and not the schar mitzvah of the Idun HaNeshamas of Prat Adam. The primary meaning of Oneg is the chiyus that comes to the chibur of guf and nefesh, which is tchiyas hamesim. And that's klal adam, when all men are going to get up from the dead, or all those who are worthy. And not what relates to the individual in his own Gan Eden after he dies, which is only his soul. Everybody has his own machar. There's the machar of the klal of tchiyas hamesim, and there's the machar of the prat in Gan Eden. The schar that's coming to a person is his body and his soul together. And that's in tchiyas hamesim. The machar l'kabel scharam of the soul alone, that oneg is only an ancillary, it's a secondary meaning to the primary meaning of body and soul together. Real oneg is only tchiyas hamesim. And therefore, we can understand, ein betov l'mala me'oneg, ve'ein b'ra milamata minega. There is no greater good than oneg, and there is no greater ra than nega. It says nega and not misa. Why? Because just like the nekuda elyona of tov is called oneg, and that relates dafka to the shefa chiyus, to the abundance of spiritual vitality that comes to the tsuras adam of guf and nefesh together. Similarly, the nekuda tachtona, the bottom point of the he'eder hachiyus, of the lacking of life, which is the contrast to the oneg, is when it relates to the tsuras adam of chibur guf and nefesh. And what is a nega, if not a lack of chiyus b'soch gufu shel adam? Of course, a person would choose very often, I'd rather have a nega than die, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, in the pnimius ha'inyan, to understand the idea of the highest level of oneg is body and soul together. And therefore it has to be Yediyas ha'afachim achasi, that the lowest level, the level of Ra, the depths of Ra have to be body and soul together. And therefore, death, while still having body and soul together, is nega, and that's why it's the lowest level of Ra. It's the worst of the Ra. Like it says in the pasuk, al nati hi kameis, talking about Siras. That's why it's nega and not nisa. Because the matzav of maves never exists in the tsuras ha'adam of guf and nefesh together. And just like in the tov, the oneg is not for the neshamas, but rather the chibur of guf and nefesh, so too in Ra, the nekuda that stands opposite tov as the contra, as the contrast of tov, is the death within life. It's the nega when the body and soul are attached. And that's why it's nega, not misa, and that's how we understand so profoundly, ein betov l'mala me'oneg, ve'ein b'ra l'mata minega. There's no greater good than oneg, and there's no worse evil than nega. Now, yitbonena mitbonen, v'yaskil tuvtam v'dat ba'omek mashma'uto shel oneg Shabbat. Now we'll understand the depths of Oneg Shabbos. We said that there are two types of machar, about which it says, machar lekabel schara. The machar of every yachid biprati yuso, and the machar of mankind bichlali yuso. My individual tomorrow, and the tomorrow of all of mankind. The shilton pu'ulata shel ha-shabbat mitpashetu al shnei sugei ha-machar gam yachad. The power of the impact of Shabbos spreads to both machars. Mitzad echad, Shabbos is a reflection of the Yom Shekulo Shabbos. In other words, B'tchum ha'machar ha'klali shel olam atchiyah, that's the general tomorrow of all of mankind in the world of Tchiyas HaMesim. On the other hand, Shabbos also stops the activities in Gehenna. Shabbos, they turn off the heaters, what they call in Israel Tanur Sheva. They turn off the heat in Gehenna on Shabbos. In other words, the Pu'ula of Shabbos in the individual tomorrow. And we learn that Oneg b'muvana atzmi, in its primary meaning, relates to the tzuras ha'adam, to the form of man, of body and soul together. Shel chibur guf nefesh davka. Memela nimtza ki shorsho shel oneg Shabbat, the root of Oneg Shabbos, is not in the schar mitzvah of neshamas and Gan Eden, because that's only oneg in a borrowed form, b'derech melitza. But the ikar shorish of Shabbos is when it is a reflection of the oneg of the general machar, because the general machar is body and soul together. But since sof b'derech tofel, the Idun in Gan Eden is also called oneg, Memela, Shabbos expands, spreads out, mitoch atzmiyuso shel ha-machar haklali, to the tchum of the machar haprati, from the general machar to the private machar. And it also shuts down Gehenna for the day. ועכשיו אנחנו תואמים צוף דבש אמרי נועם של מטבע התפילה. תפארת עתה ליום המנוחה, עונג קרא ליום השבת. תפארתה של השבת היא בזה, שבה כל הדינים מסתלקים, ואפילו הגיהנום שובת. The glory of Shabbos is that all of the dinim go away. Even Gehenna is closed down on Shabbos. אבל כל זה אינו אלא לבוש תפארת לקדושתה של השבת. This is only an enclothing of the glory of the holiness of Shabbos. Tiferet Atah Li-yom Haminucha. You have enclothed, that's the Atah, with glory. Shekol levush laguf hu zakuk. Every levush needs a body. וגופה דעובדה של קדושת שבת הוא דווקא מצד היותה בבואה ליום שכולו שבת של עולם התחייה. The essence of Kedusha Shabbos, the gufa de'uvda of Kedusha Shabbos, is that it is a reflection of the Yom Shekulo Shabbos of the Olam HaTchiyah. And the pu'ula of Shabbos, the activity of Shabbos, the impact of Shabbos in your individual tomorrow of the Mochar L'Kabel Scharam, is only a levush, it's only secondary, it's only a beged to the guf pu'ula of Shabbos in the area of the Mochar HaKlali. And therefore, Kriyas Hashem, the calling of the name, Shehi Bitui, Nikudat HaAtzmiyut Shel Kol Mitziyut, which is an expression of the point of essence of reality, relates to Oneg. Because Oneg is dafka to the tzuras adam, as we explained, of chibur guf nefesh. That's only in the machar klali. That's only in the general machar for all of mankind. For tchiyas hamesim, for the resuscitation of the dead, all those who merit to rise. Oneg kara Li-yom Ha-shabbat. That's why Shabbos is called Oneg. But since this Oneg is the gufa de'uvda of Kedusha Shabbos, it's the essence of Kedusha Shabbos, it's the guf of Kedusha Shabbos, this guf has a lavush of kavod. And the lavush, the enclothing, is shvisas ha-gehenim because of Kedusha Shabbos. The pe'ula of Shabbos in the tchum of machar ha-prati is just a lavush of kavod to its pe'ula in the machar ha-klali. The pe'ula of Shabbos in the individual machar, the way Shabbos works in your own private machar, i.e., olam haneshamas, is merely a lavush. It is a clothing. It is a garment of honor to the pe'ula of Shabbos in its primary sense, which is olam atchiyah. And therefore, Tiferes Atah Li-yom Haminucha. In other words, this Tiferes is this glory. There's a glory of Shabbos that enclothes the day of Menucha. That's talking about the Machar HaPrati. That's a lavush of kavod, of Tiferes, of glory. That's Gan Eden. That's why the Shabbos is a memory, is a reflection, is a shadow of Gan of the Ha-shabbos of Gehenna. That's the lavush. That's the outside. And that relates to the world of Olam HaPrati, of the individual. That world of Oneg. In Shabbos, everybody takes that world of Oneg. That's the individuals. Those are all the individuals. But that's just the lavush. It's not the primary source of Oneg. The primary Oneg in its purest sense is the Machar HaKlali, where there's Guf and Nefesh together. And that's what we mean in the second part of the sentence. Oneg kara Li-yom Ha-shabbos. You know what you called Shabbos? You know what its real name is? Oneg. And that's the Oneg, that's the real Oneg of Olam HaTchiyah, Tchiyas HaMeis, and body and soul together. It's also Tiferes Atah Li-yom Haminucha. It's also in clothing. And that's in the world where there's no body and soul together. So Shabbos relates to that as well. There's also an element of Oneg, but that you can't say Oneg kara Li-yom Ha-shabbos. That's not Oneg kara. That's not the primary meaning of Oneg. The Oneg kara Li-yom Ha-shabbos, that's the Olam HaTchiyah. And the Tiferes Atah also is the lavush of Oneg. There's a lavush of kavod, and that relates to the world of the individual machar, of where there's just a soul. All right, sweet friends. There is more to say to finish up this thought, but we will conclude the shir now. We'll give ourselves a bracha that we should be zoche to understand this even more, even deeper, and we should be zoche l'ilmod u'lelamed lishmor v'lasos u'lekayim is called divrei tzalmud torah v'yahava. Amen v'amen. Shalom, shalom. Amazing, amazing. Shalom, shalom, sweetest and most beloved friends.